Good evening. Lord have mercy. I have so much to share with you, especially because I know that God is calling you to this new pivot. One thing I've learned over the years, these 50 plus years, and like I always say, I don't come with absolutes, but I definitely come with some divine experience. And so I want to share that with you to think about this new pivot that God is pulling you to. Those initials there that you see that I'm trying to give you a few keys, but stay with me because I'm only going to do part 1 here, and I'll probably do various short pieces because more than just this YouTube need to hear this. I'm going to try to put it out there on my TikTok as well. But I want to just say this. Many of you are stuck in fear, what they call fear paralysis, and that's the reason why you can't move. And many of us have heard God, but we got some relationships that I talked about on this past Saturday in regards to things that you got to let go of. You got to realize that it does impact where God is trying to take you. Your relationship will do that. It's part of your spiritual life. Remember what First Corinthians 15 and 33 tells us: do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. So those relationships will shape your character. If you don't have the strength to know where you're headed or no one to talk to you about what you need to be doing, I just want to share what I share with them. So go out there to my YouTube channel, Sessions, the number 2 real. For you that are new listening, so you can think about this new pivot. I gave some signs, I talked about the seasons and all of that. But right now, I pretty much want to talk to you about this area with these initials here, that H.D.O.T.A. And then I want to give you some tools that I gave them from some books that you might want to consider to bless the ministry with, and to think about this importation that you're going to need to be able to move forward. Because many of you won't do it because you're rebellious, because you don't think you need anything. You feel you've already arrived. You have this super spiritual and this intellect. But many of you are connected to blind guides, is what I talked about. That was a word that I gave, blind guides. Many of you are following people who don't have great discernment, who don't have a godly foundation, who will lead you astray, and take you to a place that has nothing to do where God is trying to take you. Remember, it's about credibility and integrity. I want you to make sure you listen to this HDOTA. Part of this is reason I'm doing this is because over the years I've experienced that. Thank God that I finally have someone to talk to me and mentor me and birth me out, that I highly respect it. But I believe that many of us are not looking at the things that surround us, those relationships, those things that this HDOTA is talking about, and that is for you cannot hear because you're hearing bad relationships, not sound counsel. So, and the D is you can't discern because you're being blinded by this false relationship, this thing that's hindering you, and then the O is obey. When God has clearly told you what to do, you were slowful because you had fear paralysis and you didn't move or take action. That's what that T and that A stands for. But many of you are blocked and hindered, as we talked about on Saturday, about procrastination out of these fear paralysis. You avoid things to not go forward. You overthink them. You are very indecisive. And then you have this kind of physical attack on your body when you feel like you're going forward because you fear that somebody's going to say, what are you doing? Who do you think you are? But I'm trying to get you to see that this negative self-talk, these areas that you find yourself fearful and isolated because you don't want anybody to know that you try to move forward, and then you push back, you know, and then you just lack the initiative. You don't want to do anything. But I want to share these 10 ways that God will help you. These 10 practical, strategic ways that I believe that God will help you to begin your new pivot without fear, okay? Without thinking that you're going ahead of God. You got to know. That's what that HDOTA is about, so that you can hear God with spiritual accuracy and discern with spiritual accuracy and obey God because you believe and know that you heard him. One of the things we got to remember, whatever God want to do with somebody that he knows that he said it is the season for you, it is your time, that means he's going to give you some great ways to know that this is heavy. This is too heavy for me. Why do I feel this way? God always give his greatest test to the one who he knows has the greatest faith. That means you may have a little mustard seed, but he knows that you're going to walk by faith and not by sight. You're going to stop grumbling. You're going to stop complaining, and you're going to obey God. You're going to move forward in the season that he's called you to move based on this time that you see it's time to pivot without fear. Okay, so this is the part that I want to start with, and that's giving you these tools that you can get. And then I'm going to go into the first part of this to remind you to know that God is so big and bad about what he does. I love how he does things. He'll even take you around the circle to bring you back to people that you thought that you was never going to be able to be doing anything else with them. And he will reconnect to you the same people that you thought that you need to go away from because the devil swayed you away and distanced you from them, and now you can see that you really need to know that they can do, and God has appointed them to do. The devil just isolated you. That's one of those signs of the field paralysis. The devil isolated you from the very people that's going to cause you to live with power, to function in the call of your life. Pray so God can show you the season that he may be pivoting you to, back to the very people that you didn't have nothing or didn't want to have nothing to do with. But these are the books that I want you to look at, because this is one of the things I believe the devil is trying to do. And then I'm going to give you the second part of this shortly. The first book is Top 10 Reasons Ministries Are Aborted and Churches Don't Grow. Okay. All these on Dr. Sandy Murphy on Amazon. You can go out there. And then The Curse of Dishonor. Okay. The topic is The Curse of Dishonor. A dishonored character is costly. That's the name of that book. And then Women Who Answered the Call. Okay. And it's talking about recognizing and embracing your spiritual mother, mentor, and midwife. Okay. That's for men or women. Okay. And then Demons are on assignment. Oh my God. Demons are on assignment. Who's covering you? It's talking about a leadership ministry covering survival guide. Several of you need to get that one, because many of you are running around like renegades, like I once was, and don't feel like you need nobody to cover you but Jesus. Oh, really? I wonder why he got the fivefold in the Bible. And then Friendly Witchery. Okay, Friendly Witchery. Go and get that one. Got a lot of people that's connected to you right now. Blind guys, full of witchcraft. And then Loosen the Persecuted Preacher Woman. Okay, that's 5 series I got out there, but the one that I'm recommending to get right away is series number 7. Okay, it's Every Test Preacher Woman Must Pass, and the test 7 is Pressing Forward in the Face of Rejection. So let's talk about that toxic relationship. Let's talk about the unhealthy influences that you've gotten that's trained you and not equipped you and made you tired and very toxic, don't give you confidence, and that they don't even encourage you to embrace the call on your life. And so one of the things that I want to start out talking to you about is making sure you understand very clearly that when God is calling you to something, he's letting you know that he's got to strip these good things that you think is safe for you and prepare you for the great things. He's got to take you from these places and people that you've outgrown. He wants you to grow up and be bigger and better for his glory. Please stay tuned for part 2 that I'm going to share on this, because I want you to really get a great revelation and recognizing when God has clearly shown you that he's calling you to a new direction of service, to align you with his greater purpose for your life. He often brings us clear signs, but we have this fear paralysis that blocks us and stop us. I want you to go through these lessons that I'm trying to give you here with these keys, these 10 that I'm going to give, that's going to show you the signs that God is trying to get you to confidently embrace this calling in this new place and to step into the next chapter that he's got for you in this spiritual journey for kingdom building, and for you to be able to get all that he has for you to be able to help others out. Remember, it's beyond you. He want to make sure that you do just what it says here in this H.D.O.T.A. Hear him, discern that it's his voice, obey him, and take action. Just stay tuned for part 2.